Sometimes it feels like life is deliberately working against you, testing every weak point, waiting for the moment when you tire, give up, and give up. You follow your path, doing everything you can, trying to be strong, right, and honest with yourself. But at some point, the pressure becomes so intense that you start to doubt, is there even any point in continuing? And that's where the most important thing happens. Not your fall, but what's inside you. How you survive difficult days. How you react when nothing works. How you behave when no one sees how hard it is for you. Life rarely shouts. It whispers. It doesn't always break you harshly. Rather, it crushes you gradually, with small losses, minor troubles, the fatigue that accumulates like dust in the corners. And it's in moments like these that you realize that strength isn't about resounding victories or pretty words. Strength is the ability to not fall apart inside when you are being pulled apart. I've noticed many times that people often break down not from great tragedies, but from small daily stresses. Not because they're weak, but because no one taught us that patience is also an action, endurance is also a strategy, and a pause is also a decision. We were taught to always fight, to exceed our limits, to prove ourselves, to battle, to accelerate. But no one told us that sometimes the most important thing is to simply weather the storm, to weather it without losing yourself, to weather it without becoming embittered, to weather it while maintaining at least a modicum of calm.
We live in a world where everyone feels the need to be fast, successful, strong, and focused. But the truth is, no one is like that all the time. Everyone has their dark periods, quiet, unnoticed, but the kind that drag you down. And it's in these moments that the real test begins. Not when you're at the top, not when you're receiving applause or success, but when you sit at night and realize that all you feel is fatigue. When you want to disappear for a couple of days, switch off everything around you because your emotions are overwhelmed and your energy is drained. When you see that you're trying, but little change is happening. When you realize that life isn't always about growth. Sometimes it's a swamp you have to traverse, and traverse on foot.
And this is where it's very easy to start blaming yourself. I'm not good enough. I can't do anything. I'm slow. I'm not like everyone else. But people often don't see that it's precisely in these moments that they become the strongest. Not because everything works out for them, but because they keep moving forward even when it's completely unclear where to go or why. We're used to thinking that strength is about action, about speed, about drive. But sometimes strength is silence. It's not screaming, even if it hurts. It's not giving up, even if you're tired. It's getting up in the morning, even if you feel empty inside. It's continuing to live, even when it seems too hard.
Life tests your strength not to destroy you, but to show you that you can endure more than you think. But you only realize this after time, sometimes after weeks, sometimes after months, sometimes even after years, when you look back and see what you've been through and then thought it was the end. But no, it wasn't the end, it was the beginning of your true strength.
Sometimes a small step forward is already a victory. Sometimes I'll try tomorrow is the best choice. Sometimes simply not breaking down is the most important mission of the day. We rarely notice our resilience. We only notice weakness. But when life presses on, you become like metal, tempered by fire. You don't notice how you're getting stronger, but you do. Every day that you continue, even if you don't want to. Every day that you choose not to give up. Every day that you don't allow yourself to fall apart completely. You may think you're slow, but you're making progress. You may think you're weak, but you're holding on. You may think nothing's changing, but you're changing yourself. And the process isn't always beautiful. It's not always fast, but it's always real.
Life tests you, not to see how perfect you are,
but to see how alive you are, how capable you are of persevering when the odds are stacked against you, how flexible your spirit is, and how resilient your heart. Sometimes we forget that within us lies incredible strength, simply because it manifests itself not in good times, but in bad ones. And if you're going through a difficult time right now, know this: it's not a punishment, not a failure, and not a sign of weakness. It's simply life, making you more serious, deeper, and wiser.
And one day, when you look back, you'll understand. It was those periods that seemed the hardest that made you who you are. Not the victories, not the easy days, but the crushing, difficult, dark moments. They're like polishing a stone. Painful, yes, but it's precisely this that turns you into someone capable of enduring anything. You're stronger than you think. It's just that sometimes it shows itself quietly.